Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. This is our second episode of the podcast, and we have a guest today, so we're very excited. This is the show where we watch old movies, at least 20 years old, and we look back on how the women are portrayed in them. And this week, our film is Beaches, starring Bette Midler and Barbara Hershey. I'm Nicole. I'm one of your co-hosts, and
I'm Sarah.
I'm Hillary.
And our guest today is
Taylor
Dooley, improviser from Dad's Garage. So very excited to have her as our first guest on the show. So I guess before we get into talking about the film, Hillary, have you ever seen Beaches before?
I have seen Beaches about 1,000 times.
Oh.
It's easily in my top 10 favorite movies.
Ooh.
I love it so much.
Awesome.
So,
okay.
yeah.
I did not know that about you. I don't know why that surprises me, but it does a little bit.
I love Beaches. I used to watch it all the time with my mom. We used to curl up in the afternoons and watch Beaches. I think it's the first movie that I saw with my mom that affected me and I cried over it.
I have never even heard of this film. It came out the year I was born, but I've never heard of this film. So this was all new to me.
Cool. All right. Taylor.
I, like Hillary, have seen this movie a million times. And I remember when this was the movie that was chosen, I thought to myself, man, I don't want this movie ruined for me.
I know, me too.
I saw it as a kid in the 80s, so I just watched it and watched two girls be best friends, and spoiler alert, one of them dies.
Yeah.
Right.
I cried a lot. But yeah, I've seen it a lot.
I didn't see it until I was in high school, or I think maybe late high school with one of my girlfriends, one of my BFFs. We watched it. I remember everybody talking about how it was this tearjerker that made everybody cry, and it was about friendship, and it was a real movie about real friendship. And Barbara Hershey's lips. I remember that was I don't know if you remember, but that was a huge scandal.
Yeah.
It was the first time I remember anybody talking publicly and making fun of a woman who had some kind of plastic surgery.
Yeah.
She got the collagen injections because I think she was
40 at the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
she
man.
And
Yeah.
she had to play the younger version of herself, and I think she was concerned about looking young enough, so she got these collagen injections, and people made fun. She was they took it and ran with it. All the comedians, everybody was just making fun of her lips for the whole year.
I didn't even think her lips looked weird or anything. I would not have even
The
known.
first shot of her, I was like, whoa, look at her lips. But I didn't,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I remember. Lips, tearjerker, and then of course that Bette Midler song that was just everywhere. Okay, so let's dig into the movie itself.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, man. You look stupid and rich.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York. Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
So Beaches, I think it was 1988 maybe that came out, directed by Gary Marshall. So I did look up the information about that. Gary Marshall, who created Laverne and Shirley. He created Happy Days. He created Mork and Mindy, written by Mary Agnes Donahue, adapted from a book by Iris Rayner, I think. I hope I don't have that written down wrong, but Iris Rayner's book, Beaches. Mary Agnes Donahue also wrote White Oleander. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen that. That's a really great, I think that's a great movie, and the book is great as well, but she wrote the adapted screenplay of White Oleander. So let's get started. So I think at the beginning here we have Bette singing.
My only notes from this are, I wish I could still wear denim on denim, and I love you, Bette Midler.
Denim on denim is back. I could watch Bette Midler park a car. I could just watch a whole movie of that. And I think even in this movie, even though this movie, it frustrates me a little. She is always good, and no matter any scene, I cannot stop watching her. And obviously, a fantastic singer, and the song in the opening is great.
But I think it's part of the setup, because she's about to get a bad phone call. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, she's gotta,
right.
She's just
be
in her
happy.
element.
She's
having
everything's
the time of her
hunky
life.
dory.
Yeah.
But this must be important because she's leaving that happy stage.
She does not even tell anybody what's going on.
No, just
doesn't
leaves.
Talk to her agent.
Right.
Yeah.
She is, and they're like, "Where are you going?" Because they've got this concert, which later we find out gets conveniently rained out.
I know, right? Yeah, I thought the same thing.
So no consequences
thank goodness
there.
It rained.
Yeah,
But,
thank God.
So she gets the call. She goes to the airport. At this point, we don't know why she's leaving.
Yeah, but we know she's a big deal because they're like, I think we can get Cece Bloom on a flight tonight.
That's right. At this point we like transition, like she's driving, and then we transition to the flashback.
Yeah.
Where I think Under the Boardwalk is playing again, right?
And she's under the boardwalk,
and she's literally under the boardwalk. Hillary is lost, and she comes across Mayim Bialik playing Bette Midler.
I did not know that was Mayim
Yeah.
Bialik until I was watching the credits, and I was just at my parents' house, and I ran into my mom's room, and I was like, Mom, Mayim Bialik plays young Cece. And she was like, yeah, she's Blossom. And I was like, what? And she's like, I know her as Blossom. And I was
she's
like,
also
yeah,
on
I also
Big-
know her as
Big
Blossom.
Bang
I did
Theory.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew her from the Big Bang Theory, and I was like, oh, she's just now getting all these awards and all this recognition, and like I was like, I had no idea that she was like a child star too.
She is fantastic.
She's
She has
awesome.
a PhD in neuroscience.
I
Yeah,
know
she's
she's
incredible.
brilliant.
Although I have to say, it does foreshadow that Cece wants attention. And thinking more about it, it seems that she's not really paying attention to Hillary the way that Hillary's paying attention to her. Like Hillary seems to be taking it all in, but Cece's just talking at her.
I had a lot of friendships where I was friends with somebody who like had like charm and personality and was very interesting, because I always felt like a really boring person. And like, I think I really wanted to like latch on to that excitement the way that Hillary does. And so I really relate to that. But I also relate to Cece a lot, because a lot of those people were all the people that I was friends with were beautiful, and they had this like beautiful hair, and my hair was always really fucked up, and like, you know, so there's a lot of lines in this movie that really like hit home for me. And I think like, I don't know if all female friendships are like this, but I had a lot of very intense ones when I was young, where I always felt like maybe I had something that they wanted that they didn't see in themselves, and that they had something that I wanted, and maybe if we weren't aware of it, like it really bonded us together in the way that these girls
But most
bond.
kids don't actually think about that stuff. I learned, because I was the same way. I always wanted to like attach myself to girls, like you said, who could kind of make me feel like I knew what I was doing, or almost could like tell me what to do, I guess.
like take charge.
Like take charge, yeah.
Yeah.
I had friends like that. I just didn't like that part of them
Oh, yeah, I hated
necessarily.
that, yeah.
I
Yeah.
like wasn't looking for that in a friend. I was just like, I like you as a person, but you're so bossy.
Yes.
And
oh
I
my
am
God.
too, and it's not working.
Yeah.
You know, I think how I related to it was my family grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. And the friend group I attached myself to, there was the mean girl, and she did have money. She had it's the 80s, right? So she had always matching hair bows,
Oh yeah.
perfect clothes, everything. And so, you know, I always felt like less than, because I couldn't keep up with the Joneses. And so I did things like I was so goofy. You know what I mean? It's like, how can I stand out
what
without
do I have to
standing
offer
out?
here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Something that stuck out to me in that scene though was she talks about how she did the midnight show for like Merv's kids show or whatever the night
Oh, I
before,
missed
and I
it.
was
Like,
like,
who is
what
watching?
pervs are going to a midnight kids show? I was like, how creepy! It's all kid performers performing at midnight. Like,
Oh my
what
God.
clientele does this club have, and how is
Yeah.
her mother okay with
Yeah.
this?
Oh my God, I
something
didn't catch
doesn't
that.
seem
I'm
right
not
about
okay.
that.
I think that there was a lot of classism in this movie,
Yes.
for sure. And like it comes up a lot later, like in their arguments and stuff too, when they start talking about the differences in their lives. And I never really noticed it before, but I think it's also just because I've watched it as like a movie about friends who are different. And like now watching it, I'm like, oh man, like there was a lot
they
about
treat
that.
her
Yeah.
very kind of like I hesitate to use the word street urchin.
Yeah, she
Actually,
actually
a
on,
little bit of that going
on
on.
Vesta hands her some cash and says, it will keep you honest.
Right,
Yeah.
which
And
comes
then
back
comes
later.
back later.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they decide to become pen pals. I think she's written the address on the back of the photos, and they decide to write to each other. And then we go to this letter writing sequence where we condense like 10 years of friendship down into a couple of letters.
I have that she, at some point, Hillary says that she doesn't like the words proper, well-bred, and cultured, which is like she's kind of like she doesn't want to identify with being rich. I guess that's what it stuck out to me. Like she kind of feels uncomfortable with that, and that comes back later. She is kind of jealous. Well, I guess I shouldn't talk about that right now, but
Well, I think that's a thing
Yeah.
that pops up repeatedly, is that she's not really comfortable with. I think it's more like people wanting to put her in a box. Like
Yeah.
she has to be this certain
Yeah.
thing. I think that's
like
what
the
really bothers her.
expectations of like the woman in this society and in this, I guess, social like class or whatever that she's in, like women are expected to be a certain way, and I think that she's very unhappy with that, and like she's like says throughout these letters that that's not who she wants to be, and she like, I might be skipping ahead too, but she says like that she wants to go to law school to Stanford, and she's going there because all the men in her family have gone.
Cece is trying to make it on Broadway, or she's going to auditions. We see her going on some auditions, thus beginning like I think a through line through the movie, which is being an actor is humiliating.
Yeah.
I think repeatedly you just see evidence of how
There's a lot about the industry that is.
Yeah, it's very self-referential in that way. Well, I guess, I mean, they don't spend a lot of time on movies per se, but yeah, definitely Broadway. She's still singing Glory of Love. And
There was a guy who sang after her. What did he sing?
I don't know, but I know that guy from other things.
Yes,
but
right,
I don't
he's
know
that guy.
from what.
You've
But
seen
he's
that
that guy.
Que Sera Sera.
It was
He
like-
was amazing.
He was amazing.
He looked like
oh
he
my
needed
God.
to be in like a David Wayne movie, like Wet Hot American Summer.
Yes.
I felt like he belonged.
Just as we're going through this part of it, you know, you see these two women, Hillary, who is really pretty and really rich. So she should be, according to society, follow a certain path where she does not go to be a lawyer. And then you have Cece, who's not your typical attractive girl who's trying to make it in show business, which is all about how you look. So you got these two women that are like, no, I am not going to settle for what I was born with or whatever. I'm going to go for these
That's
seemingly
true.
impossible things.
That is
That's a
definitely
great way of looking at it,
I
yeah.
think that's definitely a plus for this movie for sure.
That's
Especially
one plus.
Oh no, I mean there are a lot of pluses in this movie. I think it's complicated, and I think we'll get to that when we start actually talking about their the content of their friendship. I think is what I found most frustrating about this movie. So Hillary shows up, right,
To
at
the bar.
jazz club,
Yeah.
to tell Cece, and
Through the
Cece
smoke, it's a very dramatic shot.
is.
She
It's
walks in
almost
all
like-
Humphrey Bogart
I
in
was
her
gonna
long
say, it's
jacket.
like
I have it written down like
Casablanca, right?
Humphrey Bogart in
Yes.
Casablanca. Walks in with a hat and the bags and the long coat. I was like, oh my God, who's this dapper man? And it's Hillary.
we have to talk about her manager too. Like that guy was amazing.
Yeah.
The guy who's like, I have a bad back. Remember that?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The guy behind the bar.
Again, I don't know who he is, but I was like, I could watch a spin-off of that guy.
Yeah.
Like I'd be into it.
I am that guy. Somebody asked me to do something. I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry. Just like my back. I just like,
Hillary she tells Cece that she has left her life behind.
Yep.
She doesn't want to be daddy's girl anymore. She wants to move to New York and she wants to live free like Cece. And
but she
so-
didn't include that in her letter. She just shows up
That's
and is
true.
like, let me move in.
Well, I don't think she asked to move in. I think Cece brings her to the
Yeah,
place and it
that's
just
right.
kind of happens. So they go to Cece's apartment and old Marge the drunk is sitting
Down the
outside.
stoop.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I like that she has a name. Like I did
It's
take
Marge.
note of that
It's
they gave her
Marge.
a name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she doesn't have a
Without the
choice,
Starbucks.
but Hillary clearly
Yeah.
did.
That's true. Hillary
Yeah.
chooses to live there. Although now that she's rejected daddy's money, I guess she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Right,
actually,
right.
she starts crying, and Cece's like, "Whoa!" And she's like, "It just hit me that I'm free."
I struggle with the character of Hillary. There's a
Yeah.
lot of times I don't like her. I do
Yeah.
feel kind of bad
same.
for her in that moment where she just is like so happy to be away from the obligations
Yeah.
that
Something
she feels.
that I like noted in that was that she comments that her dad even chose the type of law that she practiced.
Right.
And I was like, man, like my parents tried real hard, but did
Fortunately,
not
my parents
succeed.
did not dictate what I needed to be, thankfully.
Yeah.
But
They're
yeah.
still trying to, but it's a lot harder now.
Like, I'm a podcaster now, Mom.
Wait, I don't want to have that conversation yet.
And then immediately I'm right back to not liking her. She's like, free at last. Free
Oh
at
yeah, I
last.
had that
And
note.
I'm like, oh, you are so
No.
lame.
Do not.
I think she's supposed to
But
be
is that
kind of
Hillary
lame,
or
though.
Barbara Hershey? You know, like
Yeah.
that moment. I'm like,
I don't know. I was wondering that too. Like, there's something about her. If you had somebody in there, I was thinking about this. I was like, if you had somebody in there who was likable,
See, for me, it's just, I think the character is really bland. And, like, she's sort of like this little, like, beach ball lost in the ocean. And she's just kind of, like, floating along and just trying to, like, stay above the water and, like,
That's
do what she's
true.
supposed to
Yeah.
do. And she, like, goes where she's told to go. And
I'm trying to think of an actress today who could play that role but be likable, and I feel like
But I don't think
it
the
would
role's-
change it.
Yeah, I don't think the role
role-
is meant to be likable or anything
But what if she
either.
was? What if they were both likable?
I don't
Yeah.
think
I
feel like
Cece's
that
very
would've
likable.
really-
I do not like Cece.
I
Well,
don't
we
think
can
Ce-
get
I-
there, but I find her
Cece's
likable and flawed. I'm not saying that Hillary doesn't need to be flawed. I think that I think the friendship would have mattered to me more if Hillary, the character, the person, was more likable and sympathetic and flawed, which is how I feel about Cece. And Cece does a lot of terrible things in this movie, but I still like her. I just feel like she's a person that makes mistakes. But Hillary's just like, she's like a fucking hall
I guess
monitor.
her like her most like likable trait is that she is Cece's friend. She's like the person that grounds Cece, and like that's I think like her
does
only
she?
like I don't know if it grounds is the right word.
Are
I
they
think
even
it's just,
friends?
Like,
I mean,
No,
we'll
I
get
don't-
there.
yeah.
I mean,
I
maybe
don't
we're not
know.
there yet, but
Yeah.
I think they're
at points I wonder,
friends.
like, what about them makes them friends other
Yeah,
than
they
the...
don't seem like friends.
Anyway, so Hillary moves in, and the next scene I think is Bette Midler in the bunny costume.
I love the bunny costume.
Our introduction to John Hurd, who's playing John, the
Pierce.
independent theater owner, who
Yeah.
would totally be a hipster if this movie was being remade. They strike up a conversation. I think at this point we're supposed to think that maybe she likes him romantically, but I initially was like, oh, she's just interested in the fact that he's a director.
Yeah.
Right.
That was what I felt
Yeah.
immediately. But then he comes downstairs and creepily starts hitting on
Sees
Hillary
Hillary,
immediately.
and she says, "I just." He asked her if she's an actor, and he said, "I just thought because you look so good
yeah.
that you yeah."
because actors are only attractive people.
Yeah, that was...
But you do
tough.
hear that. Do you ever hear like when you see someone who's attractive, like, oh, you should model?
Yeah,
I
It's
hate
like,
that.
What?
Yeah.
So she gets an audition at this theater and then dyes her hair blonde, which makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Redheads
Immediately
should
trying
never
to
dye their hair.
change.
And Hillary dyes her hair the exact same shade of brown.
I've done that.
I have a note here that makes me want to talk real quick about how much of this movie is built around men.
They do a lot for male approval throughout this
Totally.
whole movie.
They fight over men, and
Yeah.
I mean, the minute a
Yeah.
man walks into their lives, it is like that friendship is like made
nothing.
of paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing. As soon as a man walks in and they're like pitted against each other. And like that's a problem that I do have with the movie is that not all women who are friends are competing over the same man.
Right.
Yeah.
And they constantly are. Even with all of the different men that come in throughout the film, they're constantly battling over that one man who's there. And I don't understand why, because obviously he's not right for one of them or
Right.
either of them.
yeah, they're
And-
so different.
Oh,
There's actually some time that we spend with them, like being roommates
Oh,
and
yeah. They,
being
like,
friends
sing
and
the Christmas carols. and
singing the
shit.
Christmas
and Hillary
carols.
hitting the heater.
I love the scene in the laundromat where Hillary's doing her laundry.
Yeah.
And again, like you
Yeah.
can see that Hillary's taking care of Cece and Cece's busy chit-chatting, and that you can see that dynamic there.
One of them said, "A man would never do this for you, no matter how much he loved you." That is so the laundry.
Yeah.
So fucking true. Although Chris is literally folding laundry right now. Like he sent me pictures of it to verify. I wish there was more of that in this movie. The way that they take care of each other. I feel like that is missing a lot of the time.
For sure. I'll just add like that scene with them singing the Christmas carols. Like I grew up with a sister and we shared a room as kids. And so like that scene reminded me like so much of like me and my sister like laying in bed at night, like talking or like singing together, or, like doing whatever, like after like lights out. And like we'd lay in our little beds next to each other and sing. And I was like, and like that was so cute, like to watch them do that. And that scene has always like kind of stuck with me, like for all of my female friendships, because I think that scene is so iconic to me.
Yeah.
Of like their beds on either side of the wall with the window.
Yeah, they're like
and
sisters.
They can just, like, pop up and
Yep.
look over. And I think that that's like when you do have a very strong female friendship,
It's
it's
potent.
like being a sister.
It's so potent.
And like that scene for me is like,
So then she gets finally gets a really big role at the theater. God,
It's like an
I could not
avant-garde
wait to talk
show.
to you guys about this musical number.
It reminded me of
face too.
Gaga, like something that
Oh.
that Lady Gaga might perform now or something. It seemed like ahead of its time.
I just think of it happened in college and it in my 20s too, of like those crazy experimental theater groups
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are really gonna push the envelope, and if you don't get it, it's because you don't understand and you're not deep enough, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
That's I had the same reaction. I was like, I don't think this means like the song means nothing. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
words. She's like industry, charity, bagels, dryer sheets. Like she's not really saying anything.
Yeah, totally.
And
yeah.
I guess
very
that's supposed to be the
heavy-handed.
disparity between that theater, the pretentiousness of that theater, which is so fucking pretentious, and this Broadway show that we get to.
Sizzle, yeah.
The sizzle, the thing we get to later. Yeah.
I noticed that during the actual performance, John and Hillary are looking at her, but they're also looking at each other. Like when Hillary's watching, John is watching Hillary. When John's watching, Hillary's
And there's
watching John.
not a moment of hesitation. Like
Yeah.
Hillary
Yeah.
just goes for it. Like Cece comes home and Hillary like looks at her like, yeah, I fucked your boss. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't like she says she's regrets it, but she obviously doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Well, I do think Cece's kind of a dick in this too, though, in the way she
I think
treats
she has
her.
every right
Like,
to be.
I don't know. Like I see it from both sides. I see it from both
'Cause
sides.
I see
like,
her Hillary for once being really selfish.
Yeah.
Even though she left her daddy's money behind, still, you know. But there's something about like she actually saw something she wanted and really went for it without any regard of
Yeah.
consequences. Because they clearly, as you see as the years go on, they clearly have an affection for each other that
Oh, yeah.
never goes away.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a, you know, hey, I'm going to go ride ride that donkey.
Okay, well now that you're saying that, I can see that a little
Like,
bit,
I-
But
it's- yeah.
maybe again, maybe I just fucking hate Barbara Hershey.
I think
That's
you just
my
hate
problem.
Barbara
I think
Hershey.
I hate Barbara
This is what
Hershey.
we're coming to.
I think we're coming down to the truth, which is that I don't like the look on her face.
I will say this about John, this line, which I think is a good line. He says, I'm a womanizer, not a liar. I know. You know exactly who he is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I'll
Yeah.
give you this.
Yes.
You can choose whether or not to be with that womanizer. He's a scumbag, right? But
yeah.
he's up front, and I think that's fantastic.
All right, so Hillary, and then
with their
fucks her boss, and then
argument, though.
immediately goes home because Dad is sick, and so she goes back home, and
Yeah.
they go back to writing letters.
Yep.
Well, and Cece doesn't even remember that her father is sick. She's like, remember, I told you my dad's sick.
And again, showing that they're really involved in each other's lives.
Hillary starts to see another man.
Yeah. Oh,
Not since
I got
the creepy
so much
vet
on this.
from Baby Boom have I been so creeped out by a relationship.
She gave up her career, obviously, and went home with her dad. And
I guess
she's
not practicing law while she's there. it seems
Yeah,
like.
she's not practicing law, but she talks about how the guy she's dating has good breeding.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Well, it
Breeding,
creeps me out.
personality, and body.
Yes, and that her dad thinks of him as like the son he never had, and I was like,
Isn't he her?
like, so
he
vomit-worthy.
His father's lawyer.
Yeah.
Or her
Yeah.
father's lawyer. Yeah. He marries her dad, basically.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
her brother,
Dude,
or
and
whatever.
McGill.
Also, like, how long has she been gone? Everybody in this movie just gets married like it's their hobby.
They do. It's like
And-
nothing. It's like, what am I going to do this weekend? Maybe I'll get married.
no, we're gonna get
Well,
married.
her father dies and Cece doesn't go home for the funeral.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
Or the
really
wedding.
Again, really strange. Doesn't go for the funeral or the wedding, which I get she's busy, but I'm sorry, again, I
Well,
feel like their friendship is not a real friendship.
She's also very poor, which is something you have to
yeah,
keep
but
in mind too.
you
Like,
think Hillary wouldn't have flown her out there?
that's true,
She
but
would
like,
have. I feel like the friendship would have been stronger to me as a viewer had she gone to the funeral or gone to the wedding or something.
yeah, something.
Yeah.
You can be super career driven and be an actor and not be so self-involved
Yep.
that you don't nurture the relationship or care about the relationships
Yep.
around you.
Yeah. No matter what's going on in your life, if your friend's father dies,
Yeah.
you're going to go to the funeral, even if
Yeah.
you don't like funerals.
For me, it's just like, well, and then in her letters, she's like, I just got married. He's great. His name's Michael. By the way, how's John? And it's just
She
like, she
does
doesn't even
ask.
know that John is
she
dating
asked,
Cece
yeah,
yet.
yeah. Well, yeah.
But she asks, like, how is this old flame of mine? And then Cece immediately, like,
Which
while reading the
seems
letter,
like a
gets
weird
jealous.
thing, frankly, to ask after you just
Yeah.
got married.
It
How's the guy?
does.
How's your boss that I fucked that we
Yeah.
argued
Yeah.
about?
Made
It,
love
like-
to.
Yeah.
Made love.
Well, and how Cece and him started to date was weird.
I just don't understand why he agrees to get married.
It's so
I don't
weird that we
either.
never see the discussion.
don't get
He
it
says,
at
I'm a
all.
womanizer, and then boom.
And she says
They're
great,
getting married.
and like
Yeah.
And he makes it very clear, too, later when she wants to continue moving forward with her career. He is perfectly comfortable where he is. So I'm like trying to think of all the angles of like, why?
doesn't make
he
sense.
even looks miserable in the marriage
He
scene.
does.
They're like, I now pronounce you husband and wife, and she's beaming from ear to ear, and he's like,
eh.
cool, like, what am I gonna have for lunch today?
Yeah, I mean,
But like the first time they had sex after the morning after, she asked, when we were making love, did you say you loved me? And he's like, he doesn't like respond. And I wrote down, he's just not that into you, girl.
What if they both
like-
just ended up with each other because Hillary ended up with somebody else?
That's
Yeah,
how I
it's
feel
kind of
about
implied.
it. Is like my thoughts on it are Cece likes John because Hillary got there first, and she's
Yeah.
jealous of what Hillary gets and what Hillary has.
well, I
and
think
she
the
wants
marriage
him.
itself is almost to get even. Like, now we're even.
Yeah.
You're married, I'm even.
I know
I'm
they
married.
just go to the
It
courthouse.
seems like it happens
Yeah.
like to even the score.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
almost.
courtship
messed
or
up.
any of that.
Just seems like Cece's like, I pick you, and he's like, okay.
Also, did you guys notice that Marge, the drunk, was one of the witnesses?
No, I did not notice
She
that.
was.
I just thought it was interesting because it was like it was right after she says, "This is the happiest moment of my life. I don't want you to forget it." And then we cut to her in the car, and
Yeah.
she's getting pulled over, and there's sirens behind
That's
her,
true.
and she's like smiling, and then she's like, "Oh fuck, a cop! I'll get out of this again."
As you do.
And then it just cuts back to 1976. I wanted to be like, what happened to the cop? What happened with the cop? And then it was just like, okay,
Well,
back,
not
flashback
important,
again.
not
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
like,
so
"My
now
best friend
we're in Cece's Dirty Brassiere musical.
This is the best part of this movie to me.
Oh, the
love it.
bra. Yeah, it was
Yeah, the over-the-shoulder boulder holder.
the tit
love
sling.
that.
Yeah, the tit
The tit
sling.
The tit
Sling.
sling, which
Yep.
I would like to call all bras from now on. You know, it's Bette doing her cabaret thing. You know, that's what she did before she became big. You know, she was singing in the cabarets, doing the sort of body songs, and so it's fun to see her do that.
Yeah.
The giant tits
Yeah.
were terrifying.
Yeah.
So scary.
I wonder too, this is me just talking out of my butt, but you know, her version of having made it is being in this crazy show, which from an audience standpoint, you're like, really?
Yeah.
And then you see Hillary is now, she's made it in her own way where she's married this guy. And we're like, no, this isn't what
that's a
you
good
wanted.
point, yeah.
And that happens right at the same time. So I
Yeah.
wonder if there's something to be said about that.
Okay,
you know?
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
That definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean,
But
she
I'd
even
go see that show before I'd go see the weird thing that she was in with the masks.
yeah.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the same way with Michael, you know, it's not what I really want to do, but it's getting me wherever I need to go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, if you
Yeah.
think about,
Yeah.
I'm really,
Yeah.
guys, I'm really trying to pull through this parallel.
I think this is
I
a
really
good
think I'm onto
parallel
something.
I think you
angle
are.
here that you're working. There's
Which is so hard for
an
it. Came up with it
intersection.
30 seconds ago. But just-
Well, neither one of them can be happy for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, again, is another thing that bothers me about the friendship, the way it's depicted in this movie. Like, are adult women going to stay friends with somebody who doesn't go to their dad's funeral or doesn't come to their wedding and can't support each other? Like, it all seems very unrealistic to me,
Yeah.
generally.
Yeah.
The depiction of women and friendship is,
Yeah.
again, very stereotypical. Women are competitive. Women can't be friends when there's a man involved. Women can't be happy for each other. They can't help but be jealous. Like, all of it is just that's the thing that doesn't work for
I
me
think
about this movie.
a lot of the problems that we're pointing out, thinking about it, it's like I think that there's so much story, so much plot that they couldn't get complex with it. They couldn't delve deeper into all these, you know, situations. It kind of felt like a summary of their relationship.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, maybe too much. Maybe this would have fit better as a miniseries. Maybe
A
that's
book.
it.
It was a book. So
It was
maybe
a
it should
book.
have stayed.
But
a
I
book.
think it's a pretty short book.
I do think that they could have delved deeper, but I do think that there are redeeming qualities about their friendship. Like, I
Alright.
do see the care between the two of them, and especially towards the end of the movie when Cece like goes to the lake house with them and all of that. And like, I think that there are moments where they really and truly do care about each other, but it's
But not right here.
not evident throughout the whole script. It's not on a consistent basis.
No, it's only when death
Yeah.
becomes involved. Okay, so one of the most important scenes in the movie, I think.
yeah,
at
like in the
makeup
mall.
counter in the mall. Yeah, this is when they're at the makeup counter. It starts
yeah.
with Bette Midler putting on the lipstick, and she's like, "Do you like this?" And she's like,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Well, be specific." And she's like, "You look like a corpse."
right.
And it's like, damn, the claws are out.
Yeah.
And it just gets worse from there. I think what really sets it off is that discussion about children.
That's what I thought she was pregnant,
Yeah.
because Hillary can't wait to have a baby, and then Cece says she wants to have a baby too, and then Hillary says, I just think someone like you couldn't care about children. You're so obsessed with your career and all.
Yeah.
Who would say that to their friend, though?
Yeah.
Oh, I've had people say it to me and my
Are
family.
you serious?
Really?
They never thought I would be able to be a good mom because I'm so obsessed with my acting career, which, by the way, I'm one of the laziest actors in the business. Like, I feel like I could be so much further along had I actually really worked hard, you know? But yeah, I've been told that before, that they couldn't imagine me being selfless because I've been so selfish. I'm like, well, what's selfish? I'm missing
Again, what is,
something.
and I would say for Cece, what is selfish about wanting to be good at what you do?
Isn't that-
Yeah.
What is selfish about wanting to succeed in your career?
For a woman, because it does not apply to men.
Because if this was a
whatsoever.
man, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Oh, you'd be admiring someone.
Yeah, look how driven he is.
Yeah, you'd be like, look how driven he is, and
you'd be
he
like,
wants
normal,
kids.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like a woman, questions are raised.
the ambition makes her selfish.
What makes me mad is that, to me, the thing about Cece that I don't like is that she's selfish. Not that she's ambitious. Ambition is good to me, but like the reason why she probably wouldn't be a good mom is because of her personal like
maybe
selfish.
I think we see that that's not true eventually, but again, like even if you really believed that, like what friend is going to say that to somebody?
They say some really vicious things in this.
I mean, some of the things that I wrote down. Yeah, again, she wouldn't want to have children because she's obsessed with her career. She accuses Cece of wanting to have children to prune her ego.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's
wanting
all very
them and caring for them are two different
right.
things.
Like you can want them, but you would not be a good mother. I mean, I feel like that's like. I mean, you could not say worse things
that's
to a
pretty
person.
horrific thing to say to someone.
I've been selfish in my life. Like I and before I had kids, I didn't love anybody more than I loved myself. I mean,
why would
who
you?
does?
Yeah.
Why would you? That's a good, good point.
So, but then you have the children and it changes you. And I don't know if that's a biological thing or what, but like suddenly this other person becomes more important. And yes, not everybody has that happen. But, you know, all of us started out selfish. Why would you want to hurt somebody that way? I mean, obviously, I guess the only conclusion we can come to is that they're out for blood or that Hillary is out for blood because I feel like Cece is just kind of defending herself. And yeah, she does say terrible things also.
And I think this whole conversation though is like, it's something that's resolved like later for me, at least in the movie, like later on, this like whole argument that they have. And I feel like it's something that's been building for a long time. And I think that with friends, sometimes that does happen. You like let things build up until they explode in the middle of a mall and you're like screaming at each other.
Is definitely realistic.
They never have any of those hard conversations that's like, you know, like I really admire you because you're going out and you're doing this thing that you want to do and I feel kind of stuck. And like if that had been the conversation, it would have been a whole different movie instead of like her holding it in. And if Cece came to her and was like, you know, when you slept with John, that really like, that was like a knife in my heart. Yeah. And now I'm like constantly scared that he still loves you and he's going to leave you.
And maybe if it started there
and like,
maybe if it started there and then went to some place where emotions got out of control and people said things that they didn't mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I find myself wondering if these people are really friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hillary and Michael leave. They get on the plane and
they both cry. So
they
like,
cry. I immediately
Hillary goes
wish
to the bathroom
that
and
Hillary's
cry.
plane would crash. Like that's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
I made a note. The airplane seats are huge, and it is a huge airplane. It looks
was
like
the
a
80s.
hotel. And then Cece cries to John.
well, Hillary cries. I'm not buying it.
Me neither. I just wrote why.
I'm not buying it. I mean, I don't know again if it's Barbara Hershey or what, but I'm just not buying it.
I thought that moment was super lacking substance because she just goes in the bathroom and cries. And I was like, why the hell are you crying? Are you crying because you're sad about your friendship?
Maybe they brought her the wrong lunch.
Yeah. I would
They
cry.
brought her the chicken instead.
Her ears didn't pop.
Yeah, that was it. I've been there.
But I hated that because
the
I was like,
worst.
why don't you cry to your friend? Why do you wait until you've already said all these horrible things?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
been there.
done that before.
Yeah, I've been there where
Just to
you're
be
like,
fair.
oh, it's too far gone now.
Yeah.
I can't fix it. But again, it feels like the whole thing is a setup for this
Right.
sad fest that we're going to have
Yeah.
later. And it feels really manipulative. What if they were together and had to lean on each other when their marriages were falling apart? Not just like later.
yeah.
What if when Cece's career starts to go downhill, they have to get through that together? Like how would have this movie been different?
Right.
Yeah.
If we had seen all that, how
And I think
would
that's
gutted
real.
would you have been at the end of the movie when she dies? how gutted would you have been if they had been through some real stuff that made it like a real friendship? And not just two people cattily fighting with each other. I don't even know if that's a word, but fighting with each other until later they're suddenly nice because somebody's dying.
I agree. Yeah. You know? I just like, I think that we don't show those moments because it's just like, there's nothing as big as the death.
So while we've got the letter writing going on, we also see Hillary at home. It's boring.
Cece and John
they seem unhappy, or he seems like he could care less, and she seems like
he's not going to make it home for dinner tonight.
Right.
And
I think we all know where that's going.
Because he's banging a blonde girl.
Cece and John are all having problems at the exact same time, which Taylor, I think you're right that there's like a parallel stuff going on.
Yeah.
Your theory checks out.
I did it. I was a little surprised that the mistress was wearing her robe.
Right.
That was in poor taste.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Always happens in movies.
Does it?
I mean, I've seen that before. That's the most dramatic, like awful thing to have happen.
I don't know if I'd want to wear okay, look, I've never been that woman.
No,
I've never been that blonde woman, but I don't know that I'd want to wear the wife's robe. That seems a little
right.
much.
I mean, all those dead skin cells.
That seems unsanitary, right?
Yeah.
I think I'd bring my own robe.
Yeah, well, when you have that, like the woman's penis or the woman's husband's penis in you, I mean, I guess like the robe is like the least of your concerns.
I guess
fair
so.
enough.
That's true. Good point.
I just had her husband's penis in me. Might as well wear her robe too. I'll probably use her shampoo in the shower too.
Might as well.
Yeah.
So we're kind of seeing them going into the lowest part of their lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Cece is on set with the most mansplaining, sexist director.
She's playing
possible.
a hooker from Lubbock,
and she's being a diva, certainly. But the way he talks to her,
yeah. I mean, your looks are shot. There are bags under your eyes.
You're through. Get your fat ass.
Haven't got it anymore.
Yeah, it's just like all kinds of terrible. And then she does what I think all women in Hollywood wish they could do. She punches him in the face.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in this
proving
world
that
do that too.
Cece Bloom is my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah.
Hillary and her husband break up, and Cece's career goes in the toilet, and Cece finds herself working at a club.
Yeah, and it's like the housekeeper tells Hillary about it too.
Right. And so Hillary shows up at the club. I feel like the scene, there's like finally some honesty, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some issues with it at the beginning.
Okay.
Just because Hillary walks in and she's like, I forgive you, Cece. Like, I forgive you. I'm the martyr here. And I'm like, bitch, you started that.
Right. Well, but I think,
Apologize.
I think it's just more in her character because she's an awful, terrible human being. She's just awful and terrible. But again, like they're finally honest with each other. I wish I had seen this a little sooner. I love when Cece says to Hillary, you're beautiful, you're smart, people look at you. A lot of times I feel like no one looks at me. I so understand her in that moment, how she feels like I want to be that. And that's why she wants people to give her this affirmation, because she's just so hungry to feel like someone sees her.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that.
This is like one of my favorite like makeup scenes, I guess, between friends that I've seen.
This is a good scene.
Just because they both admit what they've done and like that they both see each other in this light. And I think that that's something that makes their friendship so special, is they both see the other one with this spotlight on them. And like, that's how you should see your friends, I think, is like, they're the person on the stage with the spotlight on them. And like, that's my best friend up there. And like, I love her and she's awesome. And like, that's how they keep seeing each other, but they're so self-conscious at the same time that they see each other themselves like in the other one's shadow. And in this moment, it's finally where I get that feeling of like, oh, thank God, you finally had this conversation I wish you had talked about when you were 21 years old instead of 31 years old and pregnant.
I feel like this should have come out sooner.
Yeah.
You know?
And they tell each other about their relationships, you know, that Hillary is pregnant and Hillary's husband is going to marry the woman he was having an affair with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hillary gives up her career for her marriage, and then her marriage falls apart. And then Cece ditches her marriage to John because of career issues, and then her career falls apart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like they're
Parallel,
coming from,
yep.
they're not, it's not meshing.
Yeah. So then we enter the women being women montage.
The baby and friendship montage.
Right.
As I wrote down.
Right. The clown that they hang up in the nursery is terrifying. Yeah. Anybody notice that death clown that they hang up?
Death clown?
All
I mean,
clowns
it is
are terrifying.
so scary. That seems like maybe they're going to raise this baby together. They're
Which I
decorating
kind
the
of
nursery.
like.
I do
I
too.
kind of want to raise a baby with my best friend.
I
you
kind
know?
of wish
I think
that
that'd
the
be
movie
fun.
had turned into them raising a baby together.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. And this like platonic. Cece's career still
That's
could have
what I was
taken off in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking was going to happen.
I would have liked it to, but
Yeah.
that's not how it goes.
I've never had a child, so I don't know how
People do
magnificent and
treat
how much
you. I mean,
spotlight I
look,
should
hey,
have.
Oh,
being
man.
pregnant is hard and having children is hard and it's wonderful. But there is, in a way, like this weird thing. Like, of all the things I try to accomplish in my life and still do, I feel like nobody treated me more like I was doing something more important than when I'm like, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
All I did was.
Yep.
Now I'm
yeah.
pregnant and you're treating me like I'm,
Treated like
getting
royalty.
in. Yeah.
Women, you're no longer a threat to women because like you're off the market.
Yes.
Even though clearly I like to party a little more harder than you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I took it the extra mile.
Right, exactly.
But still, like you're non-threatening. and
Totally
it's amazing.
non-threatening. Everybody smiles at you like you're just doing. It's like
you're doing the
finally,
best thing.
everyone. Finally, I'm accepted in this world.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
And then the baby comes and no one gives a shit about
That
you.
is so true. They're like, "Oh, you're tired.
Man.
I'm sorry." So Hillary goes into labor, and Cece
comes to
back. Finally, so at least
Yes.
they're there for that.
And I wrote down that she had like clown contractions. Like she was like,
Oh yeah,
it was just like so crazy.
Be Hershey being funny.
right. That was Hershey's comedy, I guess.
It was
I'm not buying it,
hilarious.
Hershey. I'm not buying it.
And then Cece faints while talking to the doctor, and then everyone falls to like watch her. And
I did
take care
like
of
where
her.
she pulls focus from the delivery. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
that was very apt and funny. But I also hate it when people faint in delivery room scenes. Like, I think that
Yeah.
I think we should have a moratorium on that. Nobody should ever faint in a delivery room ever again.
So she has a girl,
She has a girl.
and then we jump to when
Which is
she's
weird. His
like,
ex wants nothing to do with this baby, which is kind of
so
strange.
crazy.
It's convenient. Her middle name, she names the child Victoria Cecilia. So she gives Cece the middle name. And I also love that when Cece looks at the baby, she says she's very smart. That was something
Does
I really
she?
liked. She
I didn't
says
even
that.
notice that. Oh, I love it.
And I love that because people always say, and I do it too. And I say
just
to
your
boys and
knee-jerk.
girls, you're just
Yeah.
like so precious, so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that she says she's very smart. I think that's wonderful. So now Hillary's a lawyer. I found the scene where Hillary gets sick at work very scary.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, like, I think that was the first time that I was like, wow, nice work, Barbara Hershey.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
you die good. The movie becomes really hard for me at this point, and I know it's supposed to be because of the friendship, but it's really for me about her and the child. One of my biggest fears is being separated from my child by death when they're very young and need me, and I'd miss out on their life. And
Yeah.
it was very hard. The rest of this movie was very hard for me. I did not enjoy it. It was
Yeah.
unpleasant.
Victoria's what? Like she's supposed to be 11
Yeah.
in this, right? Because she's the age that they were at the beginning of the
Right.
film. So I mean, that's still like crazy young to like lose a parent.
Yeah.
And
The scene where it's from inside the house looking out, and Barbara Hershey's or Hillary's talking to her daughter. See, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that scene where you don't hear what they say and you don't need to, you know what I mean? It's just between a mother and daughter, kind of like.
Yeah.
And again, like I get, it's supposed to be more about the friendship, but now watching it, I have a different response to it.
Yeah, it was all about the relationship with her daughter for me.
So they're at her where are they when Hillary invites Cece to her
They're at her home, I
beach
think.
house.
Yeah.
Okay. And
She's-
Cece
her
doesn't
health is deteriorating.
get it at first.
No.
Like and then she offers to get her a nurse to go to the beach with her.
Which
and
I was
then-
like, no.
And then she finds the photo booth pics that they took in Atlantic City, and then she's like, "Oh, well, maybe I should go to the beach with you."
Well, I couldn't tell if it was like her. Obviously, this is a moment where we see her choosing her friend over her career, which is a big change.
Yeah.
But also, I wondered if it had to do with her not being ready to accept that her friend was so ill that this might be their last summer together.
Yeah.
I think maybe that was part of it.
I don't think
too.
she saw, like, it didn't seem apparent that she saw that or she thought that.
For me, it kind of did. Just that, like, she looks at the pictures and, like, then decides, like, I'll go with you. And I think it's one of those, like, looking back on your friendship and, like, we've known each other for, like, 20 years now. And,
Wish
like,
they had that happen sooner.
yeah.
So they go to the beach, or you might be able to look at it as mom camp,
Yeah.
where Cece learns how to be a mom.
Right.
Because she's a total bitch to that little girl.
Oh, they hate each other.
Oh, yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that Cece seems to hate children.
Well, I think it's also the first time she's, like, been around a child.
I love that the kid hates her. I was like, wow, it's almost like Hillary and Cece had a child to like that
Yes.
got a little bit of both of them, and I kind of like that. Like she really had Cece's like sass, which I thought was very
and
funny.
the dramatics with the mirror, you know.
Yeah. And the moment when they're building sandcastles and she's like, keep building. I will come back and check your work. And she
they
walks
called
away
her
and they're
bossy,
like,
and
she's
I was
so
like,
bossy.
Fuck you guys.
know.
She's a leader.
But I was
Yeah.
also just like, that's so Cece in that moment where she's just like, just keep working. I'll come back and check your work.
Or is it Hillary though? I don't know. It could be Hillary too.
No, I
you
feel
know?
like that's
She's
such
got
a
that
Cece moment.
Well, if it
Like,
was
I don't know,
Cece,
for
she'd
me.
be like, build the sandcastle around me where everyone can see.
Actually, just build me.
Right?
Yeah, build a
Build a
statue to me.
mock up of me. Once we got to the end, I was just really like trying to make it through.
Yeah.
Like I think I pretty much cried from here. I mean, you were there. I just cried the whole rest of
I
the
try
movie.
not to
Yeah.
look at you because I didn't want to make you like get self-conscious, but I could hear
I was sobbing
sniffles.
for the whole third of the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it was somewhere in this part. Like I was just watching this at my parents' house, and like my mom was making dinner because like it was just convenient. I was already there.
Yeah.
And she like comes in, and I'm just like tears streaming down my face, and she's like, "Dinner's ready," and like I was like, "I'll be there in 1 minute, Mom. I'll be right there."
I love you.
Oh man.
Okay, so at this point, I feel like and I think you can see that I've written in all caps here that I hate tearjerkers. I hate them because so first of all, I want to say, why are there so many movies about women friendships where someone has to die? I feel like there's a whole subgenre of films where someone dies of cancer. Like you don't see movies with like Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg where, you know, Mark Wahlberg gets cancer at the end. Like what the fuck is that? Like why can you not have a movie with people who have friendships
Watch
that are
any
women?
movie about a football team.
I've heard
and
that, yes.
Then you
The
will
sports movies,
see
I guess.
that
Yeah.
story played
the
out.
the man version of a
The man
tearjerker.
version of a
But it's like,
tearjerker.
I mean, thank God there are movies now like Heat or like any movie with Tina Fey and
Yeah.
Amy Poehler in it where you can have friends that don't die.
Right.
But I think there's like this misperception women want to see a movie where somebody dies so they can cry. Like women like, I don't like movies where I have to cry. Like if I know that I'm going to cry during a movie, I will avoid that movie. I am like not...
I like
looking
it
to
because
cry.
I don't cry in my real life. Like I never like cry. So sometimes it's like I should probably cry at some point. So if I can find something that makes me cry, like that'd be good to get it out.
I
You know?
cry like all day, like most of the time. I just like I cry a lot. Probably like once a day I cry about something or other. Like and so like it's just like
You're like, I don't need this in my life.
Make me sob. But like there are some movies like this movie makes me cry to like an extent.
Like
but
ugly
it's, like,
cry.
Ugly.
No, this movie doesn't make me ugly cry necessarily.
was
I think
ugly
it
crying.
used to, but for me, it's like it's sort of like it's sad. I cry, but there are other movies where like I will cry. And
Gravity?
like,
Did you? I don't know
I
if
haven't
you
seen
watched
Gravity.
Gravity.
I did cry in Gravity.
I cried for the
everything.
whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I did not know. I thought it was a movie about space and I was super pissed.
yeah, but like I cry all the time. It's like that's like laughter for me. It's like
when
it'll happen.
I
and
just
it's
want to
over
avoid it.
eventually.
And I feel like it's unfair to assume that the general population of women wants to cry. It's like a woman's film is a film where somebody...
I don't
Okay,
want to.
I don't fall
personally,
into that category.
I will cry at some movies, but this did not make me cry because I didn't care about these characters.
Again, I don't think that I was crying over the friendship. Although I will say, when she's dying, this is the first time they're truly acting like friends.
That's true.
Like, I honestly feel like it's too, and I know you're gonna say that that's what makes it work, but I feel like it's too little, too late for me. Like, I feel like this is the first time they're treating each other like human beings, and I wish I had seen this sooner. The friendship would have mattered more to me. What is killing me is having this poor child watch her mother die. That is what's killing me.
Oh yeah, that definitely like is like a twist of the knife in the heart for sure. But like for me, it's a movie at the end of the day, and like there are things you've got to cut out. Like you can't tell the whole story of a 30-year friendship between two people. And
they
there
have
are
plenty of
things,
time to talk about how jealous they are of each other.
They definitely do. And like there are definitely issues that I have with it, but like the friendship for me throughout the whole movie doesn't feel as surface level, I guess, as it does for you. And like for me, I can see the dips and the highs and the lows in it, and like I can see how they are friends, even though it's not spelled out plainly for me.
Yeah.
But there are issues that I have with it.
I feel like they probably like were friends, but we didn't get to see those parts. I feel like they skipped the friendship part and only showed the fights and the jealousy and the.
But those are the things that I don't know. Those are the things that people
It's
want
high
to see,
drama.
and that's what people like recognize, and that's what sticks with you. Are those moments of like.
But I would
fighting and the
argue
making up
that
and-
you could have had a different movie where they went through drama and them being there for each other. And maybe even if there was one good fight in there, one good cat fight would have been fine with me. But I feel like you could have made a movie where you had two women getting through the hardships of life with each other, and that would have meant something more to me.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to bring it to this point where now I suddenly have to care because someone's dying.
Right.
Yeah.
I also feel too that, I mean, I know it's because she's dying, but also, you know, why can they only be close when they can have no other relationship? They can't have a romantic relationship because women can be super best buds and be married and be dating somebody. And you know what I mean? So like those obstacles.
They had to be isolated at a beach house.
isolated at a beach
to
house.
finally
When one of
be
them
nice
is
to each
dying.
other.
One of them is dying.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, and like that's the other thing. Like just to go back a little bit in the movie too about what you're saying is like she even says to John after their fight when she's crying to him, and he's like, "Well, I'll be your best friend," and she says it's not the same, and it's not, and like their relationship isn't that of a typical female friendship where it really is truly that bond,
Right.
but. I think it's like it's giving you the highlights, the stuff that the men will tolerate seeing when their girlfriends drag them to the theater to see Beaches. But
if they were funny and likable,
if they were funny and likable, it would have been a
then
totally
maybe-
different movie.
then why do we have to have parts that the men will tolerate? Why can't this be a movie about friendship?
Because it's a movie made by men about women, so we have to have.
but
the
a woman
parts-
did write it,
wrote
and it
it.
came from a book written by a woman. So
Yeah,
yeah.
not even read the book, so I
Internalized
can't
misogyny.
contact,
Yeah.
like talk about the original story.
When they get back, Victoria's going to go on a trip to visit Cece because they bonded, and then God, that scene where Hillary passes out. I thought she was dead. When she falls on
me
the
too.
floor and the daughter is over her.
I thought she was dead too.
So much right now. I just hate it. Like it's not fair.
Yeah, Hillary's still alive. She's at the hospital. She says,
Well-
I waited for you. Cece says, I'm here now.
If we could just like go back to that moment though with the daughter in the room.
Yeah.
The thing that bugs me is the daughter says, "I don't know what to do."
Yeah.
And I think that a mother that has a terminal illness that's living alone
Well, she
with a
shouldn't
daughter,
be taking care. She should have a fucking nurse or something.
right?
Yeah,
but
she
it's
can
just
afford
like
it.
she should have at least taught her daughter how to dial 911.
Yeah.
you know, and like
Well,
she's,
maybe in the moment she's
yeah.
upset. I can buy that. But yeah, I also felt like, why are you the only one there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Doesn't
was the
seem
thing for
okay.
me is I was
I
just
mean,
like,
they're playing
why
for
are you
ultimate
there?
drama. Like, what
They
can
really
a
are.
kid say that
Yeah.
will just
What is
pull
gonna
out them heartstrings?
just gonna knife in your heart?
Yeah.
So she is at the point where she's dying, really dying
the
now,
hospital, yeah.
and Cece comes, and this is, I think, what takes her away from the concert, right?
Yeah, this is
is the moment.
Yeah, she pulls into the hospital in the car that she left the concert in.
Right.
Yeah.
She goes there. We have I don't know if you guys have seen Terms of Endearment, but this kind of
Oh,
reminded
God,
me of
let's-
Terms of Endearment.
Oh yeah, all day.
Oh God.
where she's in the hospital and she's telling them, because Hillary says, "I don't want to die here," basically, in not so many words. I don't want to die here. I want to go home.
She actually says, I want to go. I don't want Victoria to see me here. And like I took that as I want you to pull the plug. I don't want Victoria to see me here, so I want to die here and not like have her come in and see.
No, I knew she
me.
wanted to go home, but yeah, I can see how that's a little confusing.
I kind of took it as that too, and I've even seen the movie before, and I was like, "What? Does Bette Midler kill her in this moment?"
Whereas like Bette Midler reaches over and pulls the plug, and then "Wind Beneath My Wings" begins playing.
That's a totally different meaning.
Well, at least I wouldn't have had to watch her die for like 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
God, she spends so much time dying in this movie.
Yeah,
I died at the line, "I waited for you," though. That was the line where I just like lost it.
Yeah. That was rough. So they go back to the beach house, I think, right? That's where she passes away.
I thought you read that straight from my notes. I was like, they go back to the beach house.
In your head. I think the death was handled well and also in the most gut-wrenching way possible.
Yes.
"Wind Beneath My Wings" played as they sat on the beach.
And the sun sets, which is a little heavy-handed, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But the daughter's in her lap.
And you don't actually see her face anymore.
No.
It kind of creeps me out, though, that she dies right there on the porch and her daughter and, like, all the other kids are playing right there in front of me. And I'm just like, you just died in front of all these children.
And then the daughter's like, I still don't know what to do.
I know. And, like,
Hillary's like, the next scene is like, okay, everybody go back inside. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see. Don't say hi
She's
to
like
Mom.
covering
Just
her up
go
with a
inside.
blanket.
Yeah, she,
Oh
like,
my God. And then
pulls
they
the sheet over her
they
face.
dig and put her in the quicksand, and then she tells the quicksand joke again about being deep.
And then she's like, buried her up to her neck.
Oh my God, this could have been a comedy.
It could have been.
This
Guys,
is the
let's
way
do
this
a
movie should
rewrite.
have
Let's
ended.
do a rewrite.
No, the
No
actual
more tear jerk.
The actual next scene was like after the funeral, I guess, and it's only like
I'm glad we didn't see the
and
funeral.
Victoria left.
God.
Yeah. And they're still killing me. It's like, I thought the movie, I was like, oh, it's going to be over now because she's dead. No, I have to watch her daughter be traumatized
alone.
and sad
Yes.
for another 15 minutes or 20 minutes, however long was left. But
And apparently Hillary wanted Victoria to live with Cece. Like that was in the will, or
yes,
Okay.
she said that was her first choice. I love the scene with Bette Midler and Victoria where she's talking to her about whether or not she wants her to live with her.
Yeah.
When the little girl says, "If I go with you, can I bring my cat?" I'm like, please stop. I cannot take any more.
Like,
Just make
what
it stop.
heartless human would tell you can't bring your cat after you've
no.
just lost your mother?
Strict.
Like, Aunt Vesta
gonna
was
have to know if
probably
your
like,
cat
you're
is
going to have to
sad,
leave that
empty
cat.
house.
We're going to take the cat to the Humane Society.
we forgot to mention that the song that Cece auditioned with when she was a kid was the Glory of Love, and then this last scene she reprises as a sad reprisal of
ballad.
the Glory of Love.
Yeah.
Yep.
And while Victoria watches in the wings.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there seems to be some kind of tribute to Hillary at the end. She makes some kind of gesture with her hands as though she's singing it for her, I feel like.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
she
like she
waves.
raises
She
them
waves,
up
right?
Oh, yeah,
and
the wave
waves.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it ends with Cece telling the story of how Hillary and her met.
Which I like. Final thoughts on Beaches. We've made it to the end of the film.
It should have stayed a book. It was too much plot for a movie.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot. It would have been a better miniseries, I think.
It's still one of my favorite movies
I
of all
still
time.
enjoyed it. And it's one of those things, too, where, you know, we saw it in the 80s when we were little kids, and you see it now. I can't imagine what it would be. I can't possibly see the movie now, you know what I mean? Without, like, all that loaded stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's
that'd
probably,
be
if we ever do
interesting.
Overboard, that's probably how you guys will respond to Overboard. Just the best.
I love Overboard.
Oh, so you've already seen it.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
all
I
right,
used to
there
watch
we
it
go.
on TNT like every Sunday when it
TNT,
came
man.
on.
I enjoyed the first 2/3, and then I did not care for all the crying. Here's my problem with Beaches. It's not just that it made me cry, but it's that I don't know that it was earned for me.
Yeah, it felt carefully crafted to... I mean, I guess that's what all film is. I mean, like, it is like you have to, like, someone has to sit down and carefully think about every line and stuff, and it just, I don't know.
But it felt crafted in a cheap way to me. Like,
Yeah.
it felt like the whole thing was just like a march to me crying. and that everything was in service of this death at the end. And I would like to have seen a real friendship.
I would have liked to see more friendship. I still think we saw the highlights of a real friendship, and I would be curious to find out more about the book and the original story and whether it was based on some sort of female friendship she had, or
the
what.
highlights about fighting over a man that bothers me so much.
I don't know. I think it's because that's what people assume women fight about is men.
Exactly, they assume.
That's what I disagree with it, but I still think that it is at its core a movie about female friendship, and those are issues that come up in a female friendship. It's not that men never come in between women.
True. But all the fights I've had with women, and I have had some doozies, they're usually about us. I honestly can't think of a time other than when I was in middle school when I really and truly had a blowout fight with an adult friend over a guy.
Yeah,
that's
so
thing. They don't ever have a blowout fight about a guy.
It's always about the guy. That fight in the makeup counter is all about John.
I don't think it's all about John. I think that John comes up as a way to hurt Cece, but I don't think that it's all about him. I definitely think it's about the problems at the core of their relationship.
And I don't know, just sitting here listening to the two of you talk, I'm sitting there thinking about Cece's character, and her relationship to men doesn't make sense to me. It feels very forced because she clearly doesn't have, like, she spends her whole life working on this career and everything else, and men only come into play as some sort of conflict device between her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the John relationship, it doesn't make sense. And then the Richard relationship, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, especially Richard.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Well, I mean, it's just a
I don't even know why he's in the movie.
Hillary
I guess that's the problem I have with this movie is that it's all a device. Like if you break, I mean, I guess you could break down all films that way. When
you don't see the machine, I feel like that's all a plot device in a way. But if you don't see the gears turning, then I feel like something is being done right. And again, it's not that I didn't enjoy this movie. I love Bette Midler. I enjoyed watching her. There was some great writing, some great lines. I did not feel moved by the friendship, though.
The best part about this movie to me was the titsling routine, honestly.
Well, that's definitely the best part of the
Titslings
movie.
for everyone. And on that note... All right, so welcome to Plug It Up. This is where we talk a little bit about some of the things that that we're up to and what the guest is up to. So let's start with our guest, Taylor. What would you like to plug?
Yes, I'm in a show running right now at Dad's Garage Theater called Woman of the Year. It is a sketch show that was written by only the women of Dad's Garage. And it is going to be running 2 more weekends. We have a Pay What You Can performance on March 7th. And then we have, we run through March 12th.
Awesome.
Come see it.
I've heard great things about it. And
dadsgarage.com.
I'm coming to see it.
I'm coming with her.
So excited.
Yes.
I saw a lot of Facebook praise about it.
Okay. So Hillary, what would you like to plug?
I have a play opening March 3rd called Gideon's Knot at Pinch and Ouch Theater in Kirkwood in Atlanta, Georgia. And
you directed this play.
I directed this play.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be a great show. I've worked really hard on it for a month now.
Super intense. If you like beaches and you like to cry your fucking eyes out.
Yeah, if you like things with actual substance that make you cry your eyes out,
that is a good
Gideon's
distinction.
Knot.
Yeah,
Yes.
Gideon's Knot is great. It's super intense.
It's amazing.
I have
very
2
powerful. Anything else you got to plug?
some videos coming out on Critical Crop Top, our YouTube channel.
We're going to be shooting a new video very shortly.
And you can always check out my web show, PYT's Web Show, on our YouTube channel, PYT's Web Show. PYT's Web Show. PYT's Web Show.
Okay, Sarah.
Hi. Well, I am assistant directing and stage managing Gideon's Knot under Hillary's direction. And I wrote a short that we're going to be trying to shoot in April as well about a woman who becomes a professional dick pic photographer. And that should be fun.
It's going to be very funny.
That's it for me.
Awesome. So a couple things that I wanted to plug. My web series, The Motherload, is still available on YouTube and Vimeo. So go check it out. Critical Crop Top, we've got some videos up on there. There are going to be more coming throughout the year. Film for a Better Future Film Fest, which is happening in May. We're accepting submissions on Without a Box or Film Freeway. That website is filmforfuture.com.
Believe submissions are only open until the 15th of March.
Oh, okay.
So please get those in soon.
Get those in. So if you've got a message and you want people to know about it, submit your film. And for more information, visit the website,
which is filmforfuture.com.
All right.
I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Okay. So today, for our nervous breakdown, we have a breakdown here that went out recently. I think I just saw this today. And there are parts of it that we find confusing. At times, I wonder if is this a regular film? Is this a porno? I'm not really sure. So I'm just going to pass it over to you, Hillary. Maybe our listeners can help me figure out if this is a porno.
Yes. Please write in and let us know if you think this is a porno,
guys.
This is a note from the casting agent. Please note, this is a comedy, so comedic timing is a huge plus on this one. If you have any improvisation training that isn't on your resume, please list it in your email submission.
So it still sounds normal.
So the first character that we have here is Bubbly Girl. Female 18 to 25, all ethnicities, very cute, bubbly and attractive.
Cute and attractive.
And then we have Loud Girls. Females, 19 to 31, all ethnicities, high partner counts, and very vocal.
High partner count and very vocal. This is the part where I'm confused. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, like...
High partner count. Like howdy partner, or...
Is this a gangbang where you've got to scream a lot?
Yeah, that's what
One
I'm
of our
wondering
friends thought that it was... high, as in like you've slept with a high number of people, or you look like you've slept with a high number of
They
people.
also asked for what? Let's read the rest of it here.
Tattoos are a plus. Must be able to sign off on them being on camera. So I don't know if that's like, please don't have the Nike symbol tattooed on you, or
is it in a place where you
like
need to see it in a specific place? I don't know.
Confusing.
I'm
or like
confused
don't
about
have a
that.
swastika on your forehead. I don't know.
So either this is a porn or comedy is shockingly similar to porn.
What's upsetting to me is that this is a legitimate casting agency whose
It
name
is.
I won't share. But,
Yeah, absolutely. This is a legitimate agency.
It's upsetting to me.
All right. One more thing I just wanted to do today is a little different than usual. Is I wanted to draw attention to a Twitter account that has been going around that's pretty rad right now. It's called Script Intros.
Man,
it's
perfect.
basically a producer who takes scripts that come across his desk. He removes the name of the character to protect the innocent, I suppose, but tweets the description, the first description of the female character. Sarah, would you like to read just a couple of those?
He replaces their names with Jane.
Yeah.
Jane does her makeup in front of the bathroom mirror. She is tall and strikingly attractive with a dazzling smile we'll get to see later.
Jane, mid-20s, of indeterminate ethnicity, an ice-cold beauty.
So that's Rashida Jones, in case anyone's curious.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And then here's my favorite. Jane, 20s, a neighborhood girl with fuck me eyes for him.
You know, he has been tweeting a lot of these. Like he started this and he has been tweeting them nonstop.
So anyway, Script Intros is the Twitter handle. So follow that producer. It's pretty funny.
It'll at least bring some light into your darkness.
Yeah, and let's all, maybe the more we talk about this, maybe the more people will step up their game to think a little more critically about what their characters are.
Yeah.
And make some well-rounded
And I
female
won't feel
roles.
so sad every time I open up my email to look at another acting breakdown.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps up our episode about beaches. Thank you, Taylor, for being our first guest. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Is that something that you can?
Yeah. Like us on Facebook.
Like us on Facebook. I sounded like such an old person just
okay.
then. Like us on Facebook. You can find us on the web at femininemistakepod.com. Send, the emails to us at femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you guys have any nervous breakdowns that you come across, please feel free to send them to us. We'll be happy to read them on air.
We're on Stitcher now.
Yeah, we're on Stitcher and on SoundCloud.
We're on Stitcher and SoundCloud, so subscribe, and we will see you next month.
Yeah. Bye.